This show is sponsored by Horizon HVAC, who you can count on for all of your heating and cooling needs. Today's episode is brought to you by Burns Roofing, your trusted roofing experts right here in Rhode Island. Whether you're in need of repairs, a roof, full replacement, or just some professional advice, Burns Roofing has you covered. With their years of experience and commitment to quality, you can rest easy knowing your home is in good hands. Call Burns Roofing for all your roofing needs. Here we are back with the Mindset Radio podcast, sitting down with Gary Balletto Jr. Gary, thank you for coming in, my man. I appreciate it.
Of course.
Dr. Mike was in here a couple weeks ago. We had a great experience, great time with him. It was one of my first times meeting him, and I absolutely love that kid.
I call him Lebanese Jesus. He touches me and I'm better.
Have you had his olive oil?
I have.
His olive oil is crazy.
I drink it by the gallon.
Yeah. We went through it in about 4 days, and we called him to get some more, and he said they shut the tap off.
Yeah.
They shut the tap off. Is that what he said?
Yeah.
It's gone. No more.
Because of customs.
Yeah. The customs took it?
He was mentioning something about that. He was having trouble getting it here. At the time, he seemed optimistic. I don't know. I haven't talked about it in a few weeks.
Yeah. So here we are, man. I appreciate you coming on. I appreciate your career. The last fight that we actually went to was your fight when you were defending your middleweight championship. I'm sorry. Sheena's first fight ever.
Yes. My very first one.
Yeah. How was that for you?
It was so incredible.
Such a crazy
really
experience,
close,
right?
Yeah, really close seats. And I mean, I can't even last 30 seconds. I'm practicing with him, so
I'm trying to teach her.
I'm
I'm having her hit pad. She's doing all right though. She's doing all right. I mean, she's got a hell of a right, and we need to find you a good trainer though. Maybe we'll bring you to Gary's. Yeah.
Hi.
Yeah.
I'm Gary.
Yeah.
I'm the guy.
So where's your spot?
In Cranston, right where Park Ave and Budlong Road meet over there. So it's right off the highway, super convenient for everybody.
Off 37 in that area?
You're coming right off like 95 and Route 10. It's
okay.
It's right off there.
Yep.
So it's
how long have you had that place for?
We've been there a few years now. During the pandemic, I had one gym set up for 18 years over in Providence and Silver Lake, and then COVID happened, everything was shut down for a bit, and when I wanted to start back up, I found a little space. Right near my house, right in the neighborhood.
Yeah.
And I set it up as a little private studio. So I could train and so I could do some private lessons, and then it turned into private groups, and said we're gonna need a bigger boat. So
yeah,
I ended up scoring a space in the same building downstairs. I renovated the whole thing and built what we know as the Bat Center now.
You've been doing this a long time.
Yeah.
I mean, I honestly didn't think it was that long until I started reading a little bit about your career. And I think you started, 15 years ago? You went pro 15 years ago about that?
10 years ago I went pro. But
Did you start fighting 15 years ago?
I started competing at 4 years old. So
wow.
It's been 26 years of competition experience.
Man.
Yeah.
And that was, I'm sure, pretty much influenced by watching your father.
Yeah, I mean, it's all I knew. I grew up in there. I learned how to walk in our gym in Elmwood Ave, which is now known as 401 Boxing Gym. That was the original Balletto's gym over there. And there's pictures and news clippings and everything. When my dad was training for his fights, he has a jump rope, and I was a little 1-year-old Chucky doll walking around, figuring out how to navigate the gym. And
what did you think of your father? Like I know I didn't really know much about my father, and when I did see him, I had a certain image of him. When you looked at your father, what was some of the things that you thought about him, and what was the image that you had?
Well, when you're a kid, whatever your parents tell you is reality, right? So, the way I viewed him was that he was, the guy. He was Superman. He could beat anybody. He was the best, and we were all, me and my siblings, we were all raised with that mentality that if we want it, we can do it. And so that was the biggest takeaway, watching my dad, is what we thought of him was, that he could do whatever he wants to do, and we can too. And that was, the mindset really growing up.
I think that's so important, just having that mentality, as a father, and I'm sure you use that now, is trying to display what you want your kids to be ultimately when they grow up.
Yeah.
So we always try to display just kind of like stoicism, work ethic,
Mhm.
just kind of you can get anything you want to get in life if you just put one foot in front of the other and just keep going.
Yeah.
Because you're going to fail, and there's been many times I've failed. There's probably been many times that you failed.
Mhm.
But if you just keep getting up and keep working towards it, it's eventually going to happen.
I've learned more in defeat than I ever have in victory.
100%, 100%. Any
Yeah.
day. I mean, any smart person will tell you that, and any smart person who's been through defeat and has come out the other side
Mhm.
can back that up all day.
What's that old line? You win or you learn,
Yeah,
right? And that's one of the truest things out there, right? It's not a loss, it's experience.
hmm
You know, whatever it is you're setting out to do, you now have more experience and knowledge about whatever it is you're doing. You move forward and continue to accomplish whatever you set out to do. You know, every time we lose, it's just another set of data in our head that tells us what we should be doing better.
yeah. You take
You know?
lessons from that loss,
Yep,
and you move on.
every time.
How did you used to deal with your losses? If you,
You know, it was funny. I got a lot of great feedback off of it too. Of and my first pro fight, I lost. I had no real MMA experience before that. I did I wrestled since I was a kid, and I did boxing since I was a kid. And when I was 19 years old, I wanted to turn pro in boxing, and I hadn't grappled for a few years. I had an injury, and so we talked to Jimmy Birchfield and the promotion with CES, and it's the company my dad was a part of his whole career, and so who else would we go to, right? But
yeah, that's it. The man.
they have the best production in New England, but we talked to them. They were very excited about it. I wanted to turn pro in boxing, and the card was falling apart for me to do that. But they said, "Hey, we have an MMA show coming up. You want to do that?"
Is that how you got into MMA?
I said, "Yeah."
That was it.
That was it.
Wow.
Right? Because they had known that I was a grappler and a wrestler and stuff before. I've had that. Some of my coaches spoke to them and spoke highly of me as a grappler and such, and so it was on their mind.
Was that
And
2017, 16,
14.
something? Okay, it was a
Yeah.
little, I was with Jimmy for a little while,
Yeah.
and I thought it might have been around that time. But
Yeah.
Well, how
Yep.
was that transition?
It was interesting. So my first experience in there, I fought a guy who was black belt in jiu-jitsu, really really tough guy, and the opening seconds of the round, I threw a jab, just boom, and it crumbled him. He
Wow.
dropped right, and I was like, oh, this shit's
I
way
did it.
easier than boxing, right? But I learned the hard way. He recovered after the first round. He got beat up pretty good in the first round. The second and third round, he wrestle fucked me. He took me down. He got on top. I was squirming my way to just almost feel like I'm about to escape, to be dragged back
So
in.
frustrating.
It
Wow.
was so exhausting. It was
Yeah.
an experience that I haven't felt before.
Mhm.
In a fight,
If you think hitting the pads is tough, when you get on the ground
you're being
and
smothered.
and you
to
have
death.
somebody on top of you that you can't
Yeah.
do anything about,
Yeah.
it just completely empties your gas tank to the point where your just legs don't work anymore.
It
Yeah,
looks like
my
an
whole body was
anaconda.
dead.
Like when we were watching the fights last weekend, that's
When
all
you
I
get
could
put in-
picture
she's
was just
watching,
an anaconda. Just this guy was just wrapping his legs all over
Oh, yeah, some people
Just
like
putting a
human
body
threads.
triangle.
around his
Yeah,
neck.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's what it looks like to
It
me.
but that experience. So I lost a split decision, and I was down a point each round because he was getting the better of me in the grappling
Wrestling, yeah.
exchanges, right? So as soon as the fight was over, I didn't feel upset. I didn't feel defeated. I felt like this needed to happen. This is the will the will of the force. This is the way it's supposed to go, right? And this is what's gonna teach me how to prepare next time. And I think I reeled off like a 5 knockout streak in a row right after it. And
What was it like to get your first?
and it was how I learned what I needed to do to get ready. The up down, go, standing on your feet, be on the ground, up down. Exhausting. So I knew what kind of conditioning I would need to be in to do.
What was it like getting your first win?
Oh, it was awesome. It felt right though.
Yeah.
It wasn't wow. I did this. It was okay. We're on track. Where the train is moving.
Yeah.
I always had it. In my head, my dad was a fighter. This is what I was bred to do, and I'm going to go do it. And I have the experience, I have the knowledge. And, so it felt like things were just, going where it was supposed to.
Yeah. It's I saw your dad at the last event, and I just saw his face watching you that whole fight,
Yes.
and it just didn't move. His face just no facial expression.
Proud dad.
I mean,
It
I
was
could tell, you could
beautiful.
feel it.
Yeah.
You could feel
Yeah.
how proud he was
Yeah,
of
I
you.
know the exact look.
But it's just the
Yeah.
look that it's just like, it's like that father to son look.
Yeah.
And
well,
do you see that during the
yeah,
fight?
Oh yeah, I see it every time before I go in there. I give my hugs goodbye. Getting in.
But do you like look over at him sometimes during the fight and like?
I have seen it. Yeah, and and I can feel it across the room. It's every parent fears the world for their kid.
Yeah.
It's something I had to. I'm still navigating how to swallow. Right. We all fear. All the especially the unknown,
The
and
unknowns
that's
with
what
your
this is
kids,
to
for
my dad.
sure.
He knows how much it sucks to be in a fight and box and do that, but he doesn't know how much it sucks to be in a cage and have all those extra threats thrown your way, and how much more dangerous it really is.
Yeah.
So knowing what he knows and not knowing what he doesn't know, I think a combination of that just like it must be eating him from the inside.
Yeah.
Watching his baby boy, his kid in there doing it, and I can imagine watching my son do it.
Yeah.
It must be it
I mean,
must be terrible.
my son is 14 and he's just starting to get into boxing, and
Yeah.
even when I see him sparring, I'm like,
you don't want to see
oh
him get
man,
punched and
no, his head's whipping
and
back, and
yeah,
I'm just
yeah.
like, damn, dude, does he really need to be doing this? But
Right.
it comes to a point where you're just like, well, I mean, it's good for him at the end of the day, and it's discipline. It's
Come here, kid. It's good for you.
yeah, exactly. Get in there, get in there.
Get in
Yeah,
there.
but it does. This sport teaches incredible self-discipline. It teaches you, what has it taught you throughout the years?
Yeah, I mean, biased as I am about combat sports, I don't think there's another thing like it, especially for kids to be getting into, to be normalizing, physical adversity like that. And the confidence you gain knowing that you can handle yourself against another human being, who's trying to attack you,
Yeah.
essentially, right?
Yeah.
That's a badass thing, right? And there's a lot of those conversations and podcasts out there talking about how, you can't be harmless and be good. Those whole, I'm sure you've seen those.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that whole complex about it, knowing you have this ability and this power just gives you a different kind of confidence. Going at anything you go at in life, because not that you would ever do it, but at the end of the day,
I mean,
knowing you've overcome physical adversity to a point where you've built your confidence level to, nothing could be worse than what I went through and made it through with that, right? So everything else is just kind of,
fighters
easy.
carry themselves different. You can see it.
Yeah.
They carry themselves with more confidence, with more just poise, and you can kind of tell when the fighter walks in a room that they're just confident.
Yeah.
Your style is very interesting. You're not really quite like the brawler type. You're more of a strategist.
Yeah.
How has that helped you with injuries throughout your career?
Really, really well. I have this philosophy I talk about a lot with all of my students, and too is and teaching is a big part of it too. When you're teaching, it's constantly on the mind, and you have to be the living example and embodiment of everything you're preaching.
So you get a lot out of teaching, as much as yeah.
But I always say, where they're strong, be weak; where they're weak, be strong. Right? And it just means wherever. If you're good at this and they're good at this, do something they're not good at, right? Even if you don't feel like it's your best asset, because it's their weakest point, right? And so it's just finding ways to make something difficult easy, right? And and I say a lot when I'm training, with the other guys, and we're doing the same drills, but they're a lot more tired than I am. But truthfully, they're sometimes in better shape than I am, right? Physically, they're shredded up, and they could do 1,000 burpees and this and that, but we're doing this drill.
Yeah.
And, a minute in, you're fading away, and I'm fine. It's just teaching your body how to relax and how to adapt, and you're connecting your body and your mind to the muscles and getting them to work in the way you need them to work, to not work hard, work smart, work smooth, work, operate efficiently.
Yeah, because you can be in the best shape possible, but when you start doing certain things, I remember when I first started getting into boxing, I was in really, really good shape. I used to train at Manfredo's, and my first time I ever like did pads or anything, I was like you. I was like 30 seconds, a minute in, and I'm like, this is insane.
What is this?
I'm like ripped. I was like running. I did.
What did you do to me?
I was an athlete.
Like you got hit with a tranquilizer dart when
dude,
you were
it was just
looking,
totally
right?
different. It was a totally different thing. Totally different thing. I couldn't believe it, man.
Is too
Yeah.
much.
My where did
But you look at like Michael Chandler, right? Like, who the hell is in better shape than Michael Chandler?
this last fight? I've never seen him
Who
in
is
better
in better
shape.
shape than that guy? He
It's his-
gasses. He gets tired. He gets overwhelmed by guys, because it doesn't at the end of the day matter who's in better shape. It matters who's smarter.
Yeah.
Who's playing the game smarter? Who's got the experience? Who knows what's going on? Who's in control of their space and their position and their timing? And it's not strength will fail you. Speed will fail you. Those are all just attributes, right? What won't fail you is timing, placement, knowledge, right? And thinking of it that way, I'm preparing myself for the long haul. I don't want to turn 40 and all the 20-year-olds are kicking my ass. I want to be the grand master. I can carry this ability. Not that I want to compete forever like that or anything, but
It seems like you're
to
going to
have
be
the
in this.
confidence to be okay
Yeah.
for a long time,
Yeah.
and be in it for the long haul and be able to teach this to people who are past their prime years, who come in and they're already in their 40s and it's too late for them to make a pro career out of it. Well, you could still be very proficient as a combat trained athlete.
Still get a lot out of it. Absolutely.
Right, as far as from a self-defense standpoint and just an exercise and
Everything.
building your confidence, right? Because it's not about being tougher than somebody else. It doesn't matter. Anybody can hurt anybody. It's not, not about that. It's just a confidence level of knowing I've achieved something that's very hard to do and that very few people do, push themselves through because it's painful, it's tiring, takes a lot of discipline. But when you come out on the other end of it and you stick with it, it changes everything of how you think, how you operate, how you carry yourself.
How has fighting changed your life outside of fighting? Like, do you notice you being more productive during training camps or when you're in better shape or when you're doing more?
Yeah, I mean, I've gotten to a point where I feel like I'm able to really fine tune how I operate, and I'm not pushing myself as hard as I did when I was younger. And I think frankly, as we get older, our bodies can't handle training like we're in our early 20s.
Yeah.
We don't recover as quickly,
No.
and
Everything hurts. You're like, why is this hurt? Nothing happened.
And especially doing this kind of stuff, you're if you're wrestling, you're grappling, you're doing jiu-jitsu, you're boxing, those little twitchy movements, if you're a little out of place and something's a little hurt, it's going to be really easy to hurt yourself, and you're constantly taking time off because you need to recover, and and that brings us into the recovery topic too. But
yeah. Well, what was it like cutting weight and shit? Like, what was one of the biggest weight cuts that you had to make?
The worst one was when I fought Billy Goff for the welterweight title a few years ago. I lost the fight. I got this big scars you're seeing right here and right here.
You got that during the fight?
I felt in control on the feet, and I put him down a time or two, and he ended up scoring a takedown, and I navigated it very well and put him in a really nice deep arm bar. Everything was going well. And then all of a sudden, the kid's an animal. He just threw a barrage of elbows, and eventually, out of 100 of them, 1 or 2 of them got through, and that caused these cuts. So we get back to the feet. I abandoned the arm bar, thinking, I'm gonna drop this guy again. I'm not gonna burn all my energy squeezing this. He's doing a good job lifting up. And
yeah. How long did you have it placed for?
How long was I holding on to it?
Yeah.
Nah, about 10 seconds. And then like I say, with a strong be weak, with a weak be strong. He started feeling strong there. I didn't want to squeeze myself out. It's a 5-round fight.
Yeah.
I said, I'll just cartwheel up and take this guy out on the feet.
Bring it back to the feet.
And as soon as I cartwheeled up, the blood's pouring down, the ref's running over, and it was covering my eyes. I'm wiping like this. and the refs waving off. I'm like, what's happening? What's happening?
And they called it.
And they called it, which rightfully so. I mean, it was
it bad? Yeah. Was it a CES fight?
Yeah, it was a CES fight.
Yeah, man, that's unfortunate. There's so many times that I've watched fights throughout the years.
But that weight cut, getting into your question, I got sidetracked. That weight cut was the worst. I came from about 190 to 170 in 24 hours. And
what? How did you even do that?
I thought I was gonna die. I don't typically get water off my body that well.
So you dropped 20 pounds in 24 hours.
Yeah.
What was that process? I need to know what that.
I need to lose a quick
20 pounds.
We have a party this weekend.
I actually passed out in the sauna a few times.
What?
And I'd wake up and my buddies would be shaking my legs upside down. And what's going on?
Jesus, dude.
I'd get on the scale. I lost like a couple ounces. I was like, all right, back in.
Would you have the do you have the bike in the sauna?
No, I just
You're just chilling in the
I
sauna?
did all the bike and the treadmill and stuff, and my legs were already burnt out and everything. So it if the weight cut doesn't go well, the next night typically doesn't go well either.
How do you find the energy to fight after draining I get cranky after one meal loss. So how do you do that?
That's actually something that you've asked a lot.
I really wish they'd implement, having to weigh in again the next day. I know some boxing organizations were doing it where you'd weigh in and the next day they'd weigh you in again and make sure you don't go with over the 10-pound limit. Because if you're dehydrating more than 10 pounds out of your body, they disqualify you. They don't want you doing it.
So you can't gain more than 10 pounds in the following day.
Yeah, because if you do, that means you're
having a 170 against a 190. The day of the fight, and that's happened. That's what happened with the Brock Lesnar and Mark.
You'd have better fights. These athletes are in prime shape when they're getting ready for these fights. Especially on a UFC level, and you look at these fights and you're like, oh, it's round 2. These guys already gassed themselves. So the rest of this fight's gonna suck. And it hurts the entertainment value for the crowd and everything. Just because they want everybody to suck weight. Well, what would happen if they took that away? Is they made it a rule where, you have to be within 5 pounds of what you weighed in at yesterday. Everybody would just go up a weight class and we would just do away with that. And you'd see better fights because guys would be in better shape. Even guys, girls, whatever the fight is, they'd be in better shape.
Didn't they implement that for a while and they went back to the original way? I
heard they did something like with the 10-pound thing with boxing, but not with MMA.
What do you think about the sport of boxing right now? And would you... a lot of people say that it's dying and this and that. And personally, I think that they kind of, a lot of the times they are going fight to fight and their next fight is kind of like their opportunity to keep going, in my opinion. But how do you feel about that?
Why did MMA get so popular?
Because they started putting on the fights that we wanted to see.
Yes.
In my opinion.
You're not able to withhold who you're going to fight. You're going to fight who they tell you you're going to fight.
Yeah.
All the best are going to fight the best. It's all under one monopolized thing, which, could be a double-edged sword business-wise. But you have you have all the best of the best fighting each other, for one. But for two, it's the violence of it. You're going to get action. These guys can do anything. They have little gloves. They're going to hurt each other. They can wrestle each other. They can slam a knee through somebody's head. So you're going to get guaranteed action. When you watch a boxing fight, you're going to see a lot of these fighters are going to poke at each other for a good
6
10
rounds.
and then you're going to argue about who won a decision, right? And more often than not, you're going to get some bullshit decisions, right? That's going to happen. So I think all of that as a whole is what hurts boxing. The lack of and the lack of competition against UFC. There's nobody marketing the way they do.
No, their marketing is insane. Their storytelling is phenomenal. And I don't think boxing even really does that much. Remember the Deontay Wilder and Fury fight? They did that movie remake with the zombies. You remember that? Where Deontay Wilder was coming down the stairs and he was dressed up as a zombie. It was this weird little thing, but that's that's all they did. They didn't tell the backstory. They didn't pump it up like the UFC does, kind of the build up,
Right.
And that hurts them a ton, man. And whether it's marketing dollars that they don't want to spend and that they'd rather keep or whatever it is.
Well, for those big fights, when they have the budget for it, they did those, when Mayweather was rocking and rolling, it was the 24/7s.
24/7s were
right?
sick.
The 24/7s, that's what they all need to be doing, right? Because if that's going on a
UFC,
scale where
they're
reaching these viewers,
Mm-hmm.
that's, embedded, right? Those kind of things, right? Humanize the fighters, to a level where people understand them, know what they're about, know their story, and it builds that storyline that UFC creates when all their fights, to where you feel like you're invested into the outcome of what's going to happen here. And and people often forget. I've had my balls busted so many times for. I have a lot more submissions than knockouts, right? But I'm more of a boxer. And the idea behind that is you knocked him down, but then instead of hitting him, you're throwing a choke on, right? Well, why'd you do that? You already had him knocked out. And the thing that I think people forget is, if I'm in a situation where, I'm fighting a guy, I didn't take really any damage, I catch him, he goes down, I have the choice now. I can start hammering away, maybe get this thing done like that, and smash this guy's head in and cut him, bust him up, But that guy, being a fighter in there and having the control, over the end of the scenario like that, I know that guy's going to get up and go to work Monday morning probably. I know he's probably got a wife.
You're thinking of this during the fight?
I know he's probably got a wife and kids at home that are, waiting to see their dad at the end of the day, or their husband, or their son, whatever it is, right? And if I don't have to, hurt them that way,
just give them a little nap.
Just give them, put them in a little squeeze, give them a little hug. They go like this, and it's over, right? And
it's surprising that you think of that,
right?
during the fight.
Well, I think it's just part of me before it. It's not that I'm stopping in the moment and going, oh, wait a minute, this guy's, got 3 kids going to be tapping on my window saying, Daddy can't support us anymore. It's just, I do think of it as these people are all human beings, and we're all just trying to survive and make it, and if I didn't, take any damage, I don't have to damage the other guy. Let's all go home happy. But, this last fight, I was in a similar scenario, and I hit him with a good punch, and I went in closer to throw another, and I felt him fall into me, and I went, oh, this guy's going down. It's over. I could walk away right now, and the ref will probably just wave it. I could put him down and throw a choke on, and it'll be over. So, or whatever. I could play this out in a lot of different ways, and I remember it crossing my mind in the moment. And you can see there's a pause in the fight if you really pull up this clip. I hit that last right hand. He stumbles. I go to hit him again. He kind of falls into me. So I start to become aware of what's going on. I give him the body lock, a little hug, and I go, okay, he's falling down. So I lay him down pretty slowly. If you look back,
is that on your Instagram or anything?
Yeah, it is.
Ash, pull up his Instagram. Let's do a play-by-play real quick.
And I'm thinking about, I could just submit him right now. But then I fucking remember he punched me in the eye.
I saw it.
And there was a pause.
I saw it.
It was and then I thought,
play that again.
I thought to myself for a second, you know what?
Oh, that's cool.
He punched me in the eye. My eye's almost swollen shut now. I have a little cut on it. He threw a knees at my head. And
watch. Ready, watch. You can see the hesitation when he lifts up. Ready?
Yeah.
Not this one. That.
Yeah, he pulled back.
I thought about it for a second. Just a split second.
Yeah. Now, were you looking to see?
And then, I knew it was over.
Were you looking for a rear naked at that point, or were you?
I thought about throwing on a front arm triangle for a second there, right? Because his arm was lifted up, and I thought about it for a second. And then I said, you know what? I'm gonna just knock him out. It's done, right? He's already out. Let's just hit him a few times and call it a day. And you know what the punishment is for that? Want to know what the instant karma is? I broke my hand and my thumb.
Oh,
did you?
On those last 3 or 4 shots.
So your brain was probably thinking 2 things, like, hey, I know what's about to happen.
Yeah, I could cave this guy's head in right now while he's defenseless, or I could just throw a choke on.
Yeah.
And I chose the evil that time because
it got you.
Because
you know what? You.
Yeah, because you know what? It's what everybody paid. It's what everybody paid to see, and yeah,
karma.
You know what?
Jimmy like that. I could say
he deserved that.
Like that.
He had it coming. He hit me too. So
what's it like working for Jimmy Birchfield?
But it's cool working with Jimmy. We have a family history and stuff with my dad and everything. So he I get very special treatment at CES. I feel like I'm special.
Yeah, man. He's awesome. That guy's awesome.
Yeah,
the whole company's awesome. They're doing it the right way for sure.
Their production value is so good.
Yeah.
If you compare it to all these other organizations, anything under, anything less than UFC, Bellator, ONE FC, PFL, CES's production value is just about at their zone. How well they lay it out. They bring an element of class to their organization.
Yeah, Pat and Mike do a great job. Fred too. They all. I got the pleasure of watching them work and like how they all just click and
they're great.
Their system is just on point. They've been doing it for so long that now.
Yeah, they're cool people to deal with.
Yeah, man. Yeah. So, where did you get the name Batman? How'd that come about?
Because I'm Batman.
I agree.
I started off my first fight. I was announced as Gary Tiger Balletto Jr. Just kind of they were just calling me. They called my dad, right? And at that fight, we had half the venue filled out with Batman shirts on. I didn't organize that. It just
that was just a coincidence.
Some probably because it's just a popular character, right? But a lot of friends and family all said, "Hey, we're all gonna wear Batman shirts," and because I think a few times I wore like a really movie quality Batman costume to like a Halloween party or something like that, and I was always a fan of it. But there's other elements to my personality. In my personal life, where a lot of friends and family make that connection, and so they all wore Batman shirts to the show, and some there was some chants going on in the crowd, going saying Batman and stuff like that. So by the second fight, we just rolled with it.
Yeah,
we said,
that's cool.
They were like, "What's that about?" I said, "Hey, I'm Batman now."
It's a good name. I mean, nobody. Really, not even in the UFC. There's not another Batman out there right now.
No, the way that's one and only.
Yeah,
the way I interpret it, in my mind, is the duality of it all. Right? Is we have our Bruce Wayne and we have our Batman side. Everybody's got that duality to themselves, right? We all have our dark side, and I try to follow the formula for Batman. Right? Is use that darkness, harness that darkness for the greater good. Right, and I try to turn that darkness into a positive light, where that darkness will be useful and harnessed, the most efficient way possible.
A while back, your dad had an accident.
Yeah.
I want to just touch on that a little bit because it's something that I think should be talked about a little bit and how you dealt with it and how it was dealt with. I mean, you grew up with your dad being this superhero and this person that you looked up to so much, and I know you still do. What was it like watching him go through that accident and having to see him go through that?
It's funny because part of it still feels like we still haven't reached like a place of acceptance. There's always that little bit of hope we hold on to that because his injury is called incomplete, meaning that it's possible he gets something back and ends up in a little bit of a better place. So we've always held on to that hope. But from the beginning when it happened, we just kept saying, "Oh, he'll be fine. He'll recover. It's gonna,
What happened to your father? For those that do not know.
Yeah. It's such a common topic to me now. I forget a lot of people don't know. My dad was a professional boxer and all that. He was a local hero and with all that, and he had an accident in the yard one day. My brother was young at the time. He was, I think, 8 years old, right? Because I was 18 when it happened, and they were at my dad's house, and he put my dad was training for Ninja Warrior at the time.
No way.
Yeah. He was actually he was in talks with the people. He was getting involved with the pre-production of the season, and they were excited to have him on. And my dad was a freak gymnast since he was a kid.
Yeah.
And I mean, just for fun, he'd go out in the yard and there'd be a tree this wide, and you can't climb. There's no branches or he'd grab the side, shimmy all the way up like it was nothing, and swing from branches, 40 feet in the air. This guy's nuts. you know, he had a construction business his whole life, working on roofs. He'd be on his phone, walking sideways.
Is that what he did?
He was on 3 floors.
He was a roofer?
He did all construction.
All kinds of stuff.
Yeah. New projects and renovations, all that kind of stuff. So he did everything top to bottom. And so to train for that Ninja Warrior thing, and he put a pipe in the yard between the 2 trees. And he was teaching my brother how to do pull-ups and flip around the bar. My dad would flip around to do handstands.
So
on the
it was
bar.
like a pull-up bar that he installed on the 2 trees. Yeah, got it.
Installed. He just wedged it, you know, by gravity in the trees, you know, and the guy's doing flips on. He's nuts. But it was only, you know, 5-6 feet off the ground. You know, he didn't think anything. You know, if he fell, he wouldn't have an issue. He flipped up on it, and the bar came down. He landed right on his neck, and just from a few feet off, and broke C1
Were you
through
home?
7. C1 through 7, except C4. No, I wasn't living there at the time. I was already grown up and moved out. But I remember flying to the house. I got the call from my mother, and you know, said, "Hey, he fell. He's not moving. I don't know what's going on." I'm like, "What do you mean he's not moving, right?" And you know, there was alarm in my head, but at the same time, I'm thinking like, "Oh, get up. What's wrong with you?" Right? So I'm driving there, thinking like everything's gonna be fine. Get there, the ambulance is taking him to the hospital. I'm like, all right, everything's gonna be fine. You know, and I stayed with my siblings there while my mother went to the hospital, and we sat there for this happened in the morning. I think it was around like 1 a.m. I finally got a call back from my mom saying they're gonna do a surgery right now. They don't know if he's gonna make it. Right? It was freaky, and you know, that's when it hit me like, oh shit, maybe he's not fine, right? And you know, that was a tough night to swallow. You know, trying to figure out, okay, if he doesn't, now what? Right? You know, what am I gonna do with my brother and sister? What's you know, what do we do? You know, and I'm trying to plan all that out and figure that out, and at the same time, you know, trying to be not panicking. You know, I try to approach everything, you know, stoically, even before I really studied stoicism, and because I knew I had to be that rock, you know, for the family now.
Yeah.
So you know, we got a call maybe 4 a.m. after that saying, okay, the surgery's done. He's alive. He's alive, and but not really okay. They said he's paralyzed from the chest down. And you know, the first thing goes through my head again is the optimism of, okay, he's gonna be fine.
Yeah, of course.
You know, this happens. They'll put the halo on his head, and you know, be like a Vinny
You're
Paz.
And you're thinking
story.
you're thinking he's gonna get up and just start you know, getting himself
it's gonna be
better.
a road to recovery.
Yeah.
You know, and you know, a year goes by, another year goes by. Now it's been 11 years. You know, and you know, there's thoughts that cross our mind too. Like, yeah, it's probably, you know, gonna be like this forever now, right? But there's always that little bit of hope, especially with all the technological advances going on now.
Yeah, no kidding.
Maybe some way, somehow,
Elon Musk might have something
he'll
one of these days.
If he just gets a little something back.
Yeah.
He could do a lot with a little. He's a freaky dude, man.
Dude, that Neuralink might be a route. You know, that thing is curing so many things.
If he were paralyzed from the waist down, it wouldn't even slow him down. He'd be like Monkey Man, like, you know, he'd have things going on. His upper body strength is ridiculous. You know, you know, if he could do a lot with a little. If he gets anything back, it's going to be a game changer for him. You know, and just what he's accomplished now with his independence. With, you know, he drives his own vehicle.
Yeah,
he has the adaptive
yeah,
equipment.
dude, he's still like living.
He
his
feeds
life,
himself.
For
Sure. His hands don't work. They
How
don't
does
do
he
this.
Do it?
So
That's
he found a
incredible.
way to adapt. It's amazing, and we've met other people like that have
That
shown
have the
him the
same
way
thing.
and mentored him a bit, and showed him, hey, look at, like, our hands don't work, but we go like this, and we turn our hand like this, and the nerves close our grip a little bit more, so we can get a hold of things. And it's crazy watching him. Like, he'll open a lid, pour something, grab it like this, and drink it,
Wow.
and put it back, and it's like he's gained, you know, so much independence back with nothing. Imagine what he could do with a little bit of something, you know. If they find a way to get his hands operational again, and some of his triceps or something, you know.
Yeah.
And I'm still confident that So at some point we'll get there.
Yeah,
because he's still young.
I think so,
this
man.
happened to him.
He looks good still. I mean,
this happened to him at 38 years old.
Yeah.
Wow.
Which is crazy to think about. Because him and I aren't far apart. We're 19 years apart.
When you guys, I was watching the podcast when you went on Ed Brady the other night. Oh, it was last night, and I was looking at you two, and I'm like, they just look like friends. Like
we do have, yeah.
I mean, honestly,
we're like I said, we're not far in age, and
you've seen pictures of his dad.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
He's I'm 30, he's 50.
What was his message to you, like during this time? Like, I know it was tough for you to probably deal with in ways, but like, how did he take it in a way to like, what was his message to you during that time?
It wasn't really words. It was just example. The biggest takeaway I get out of it is, and I know he has his moments of like, fuck, I want to drive my chair right off a bridge right now. I can't imagine like how fucking,
I cannot imagine
like crumbling that must be mentally.
Coming
right?
from where he was.
Yeah, because it's not like he was your average guy who sits around and blows farts. He was
the man.
This guy's a freak. This guy's a freak of nature.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? A complete freak of nature. I've never seen somebody so freakishly athletic in my life. The guy could pick up anything and like he was the best at it.
Yeah.
And I've been, I have some elements of that. I'm pretty athletically inclined, but that guy was just
up chess in like 3 weeks.
I'm a pretty fast
you a good chess player?
but
like really advanced. Like
really?
Okay.
Do you play a lot? I love chess. I love playing chess.
I not a ton, but I did pick it up pretty quickly. I understand how it works, but athletically.
You play poker or anything? You gamble?
No,
Good,
I don't even know how to play.
Good, yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see. Like,
I'm not a good bullshitter.
Yeah. Poker, gambling sucks. Gambling sucks. But I mean, we went once. I brought her to Twin River. We lost $700. I bet football when I try. I lose money. I'm a mush. I lose.
Yeah, you're a sucker.
I lose every single time. I just should give it away. Put it in an envelope. Put a little note on it and say, "Here, take my money." All right, let's take a quick commercial break to bring you our sponsor, Burns Roofing. I've been personal friends with Eric for over 20 years. He's an incredible stand-up businessman. And if you ever need anything regarding roofing in Rhode Island and Massachusetts, give them a call. They do honest, hard work, and he is my go-to whenever I need anything in roofing needs. Today's episode is brought to you in part by Pro Landscaping, Rhode Island's trusted partner in creating beautiful, functional outdoor spaces. From detailed lawn care to full-scale landscape design and hardscape installations, they bring expertise and a commitment to excellence to every project. If you're looking to elevate your property with skilled, reliable professionals, Pro Landscaping is here to make it happen.
I've always been a fan of all sports. I like to play them, not watch them.
Did you play football?
I did.
Yeah? How was that?
I was pretty good.
Really? What for Cranston?
I had a scholarship to LaSalle in high school. I didn't take it.
Really?
But for football, I was
What about, do you watch fighting? Do you watch UFC?
A little bit. When there's the big events and all my friends are around me asking me to watch it, I don't watch it.
What do you think McGregor what do you think McGregor's special sauce was? And while that was going on, did you notice a change in the way the press conferences were being handled on a local level?
There's still a lot of that going around.
Yeah.
He definitely set a high bar of
let's
sell this thing.
Yeah, it was insane.
And there's always been an element of that, but it definitely, I've seen guys even doing the stupid walk.
Yeah,
like
the Vince McMahon walk.
Figure out your own thing.
I know it's annoying. It's annoying.
But
sucks to see what's happening with him, though, man.
Well, that's what happens when you
get to the top and there's nowhere else to go.
I guess but when you come from nothing and you make something out of it, some people just don't know what the hell to do with themselves.
Yeah.
It gets to them. And everybody's got their dirt, but it seems like his formula, from a technical standpoint, was the way his timing was with his distance management and his movement, and the formula that they gave him the right opponents.
Yeah,
to build his storyline all the way up because they knew he could sell.
When they started giving him opponents that were, you saw the lack of training.
When it was unavoidable that he had to fight guys like Nate Diaz and Khabib, it became more of an issue.
Yeah.
I don't say the best fighters in the world are the UFC fighters. The luckiest ones are, right? The one that, there's plenty of talent level out there that'll compete, if not best, most of the guys on those rosters. It's just, it's like making it in Hollywood nowadays. The process of knocking down that door to get in there.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't work the way it used to. It's not like talent scouts, finding a guy and saying, "Hey, this is our next guy." They can create somebody overnight like that.
Yeah,
The talent level's out there. Everybody,
and they have the resources to do it.
It's who are they going to build? Who are they going to give the right fights to? They're going to create the right scenarios and get a guy, who's a better guy, but it's a short notice guy. Or they're going to get a guy that his stylistically just does not match up well against this guy's style. But even though the guy that could kick his ass got crushed by that guy, it's a big whirlwind of styles making fights,
it's
basically.
Business
right?
at the end of the day.
It's an entertainment business first. And I think that's what a lot of people forget about MMA as a whole. It's not really... all it's caked up to be that it's, the best guys fighting the best guys. There's a lot of that, but they've been getting away from it more and more because they've created such a machine now where they can create a star overnight like this. All they do is and a lot of those other guys that came in when, like that Sage Northcutt guy, that's when they were still even recruiting at the time. They saw something in him and they brought him in, and it kind of all
he was just a good looking dude that
they
was
gave him the
ripped.
opportunity though, right? And
they did. They put him on the front. They put him on a show. And they said, let's see where this kid could take it. They've done that with a lot of women too.
And the division is, of all these divisions now are just different than they were back when UFC was making its real big rise, which to me was like 2005 to 2010 was like the real blow
the
up
highlight
of
the UFC,
right? When Rampage and Rashad Evans and Forrest Griffin and all,
Tito, Chuck,
Brock Lesnar and
that was a little bit before the Tito
Jose
and Chuck.
Aldo.
Do you remember that, the Tito and Chuck days?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's when I started, paying
Andre
attention
Arlovski.
to it. But those days was these guys were less experienced, right? Because MMA wasn't really a thing. Like, and
I mean, they just started doing calf kicks.
When I started, there's still a lot of things that we're really behind on. But even when I started watching, I was like, oh well, I wrestled and I did boxing, and I have a lot of the pieces you need for this, and I started picking up jiu-jitsu when I was 12 years old or something. So I had all the pieces you needed, but it still wasn't refined into an art of mixing them all together yet.
Right.
And but now like these, the generations that are in it now are guys who knew this was a thing since they were 10 years old, and they've been training for it since, and then now they're coming up and they get there at 25 years old, 30 years old, and they have 20 years experience mixing things up, and it creates a different talent level than there was.
The talent level right now is insane. The Pantoja fight the other
everybody's
night,
good at everything now, whereas everybody was mostly kind of barroom brawling with a little bit of skills and some tricks up their sleeve. Now it's everybody's like a trained assassin. When you put guys that are evenly matched against each other, a lot of times it's a boring fight because you're going to see them be very technical.
If you're somebody that really knows fighting though, and you see that, you're like, you understand what's going on. You're like, I know exactly what they're doing.
Yeah.
This is crazy. Like the Pantoja fight the other night. These guys, their skill levels are just getting to a point where it's just it looks like a video game. It's so amazing to watch, man. They're so talented.
Well, I was watching, like, I'm really enjoying Ila Topuria.
Oh yeah,
right
he's
now.
Nasty. His boxing is crazy.
He keeps his elbows in. He's got that little bounce to him.
Yep.
He's
got that in and out.
You can tell right away when you watch it, when you really dissect the everything that's going on with the physics, and I said right away and I'm a big Max Holloway fan. I just like him. He's just
my favorite. Great. What's your favorite Max Holloway moment?
I mean, the recent one with Gaethje. That was the most badass
that was cool.
moment
that was crazy.
You've ever seen. He had it in the bag and risked it all at the last 10 seconds
that
of the
was
fight
insane.
And said, let's just swing at each other.
Oh, yeah.
There's never. I think that's going to be the most badass moment in UFC history.
Probably, man. Probably. That's not 3 seconds left of the fight.
That can't be topped. It could try to be replicated, but it ain't going to be topped.
And it was Gaethje.
Yeah. Dude, it's not like it was some guy you had it in the bag. This guy can knock you the fuck out.
Dude, watch this. Watch this. 17, 16. So Max Holloway's style is very unique too. I love his style. I've always loved watching him fight. Watch this, ready? Let's get to the center.
Yeah, look at him.
He's like, come on, get.
There'll never be a better showman than shit like that, you know.
Good night.
He risked it all, knowing like I got this in the bag, you know, and that's the kind of thing that people sign up for. That's what they want. That's what they pay for to see.
Pull up Holloway teaches boxing.
Yo,
mid-fight.
It was T-City.
Brian Ortega. Put up Brian Ortega and Max Holloway. That's my favorite Holloway moment.
Yeah.
I mean, to take the time during a fight to be like, listen, man, keep your hands up. Who taught you boxing? Look, watch this. Look, in the middle of a fight, rewind that a little bit. Look. He's like, dude, chill. Right here. During a fight.
Yeah.
I mean, this wasn't even at the apex or anything. It wasn't during a time where like
you go do
yeah,
this.
look,
and then
boom.
Hysterical.
Mid-fight. I mean, great. You're in the 4th round. I think Kamzat is going to be probably one of the best fighters ever, but we'll talk about that in a second.
When you have a lot of experience, you can feel when you just know that this guy can likely no longer hurt me.
Yeah.
Right. And you build to such a confidence, and you get into such a flow. It's a flow state. You know, and you just feel untouchable in those moments, and you know, those are the moments where you can do things like that, where you know you got the other guy tired, exhausted, hurt, defeated.
You felt his all. You felt everything he has.
You can feel the energy on them when they want to quit.
Yep.
You know, and if you're really paying attention, when you're relaxed and you're poised in there, you can feel that on an opponent. You know, when you're revved up, you know, you can't feel anything. You can't think about anything. You're just you know, a dog chasing a bone. But when you really do settle in and you get into that flow state. You know, I mean, like with anything, right? You get in a flow state of talking on a podcast or you know, whatever it is you're doing, you got this going here. You're working very efficiently. You're aware of everything going on around you because it's just, you know, you ever see a guy laying bricks who's done it every day? And
man.
Those videos of the guys that put a stack and they and the whole stack goes down. They grab the mud, they go across all of you. Like, what is, you know, how's he doing this? Right? You just get into like a flow and you just, you know, you feel it. It's,
we get like that a lot, like during the day, like during a really busy day when the phone's just nonstop. And where we got 2 phones and we're picking up one, putting down the other, and we're on, you know, you feel that.
You'll come out of it.
And that adrenaline you get, dude, is just like
the adrenaline.
Oh my, I'm accomplishing so much right now. And you just know that it's going to come back in some shape or form.
When you come out of it, you know, for the first couple of times experiencing something like that, you look back and you're like, how the fuck did I just do that?
Oh, yeah, all the time. She'll say it. She'll be like, how did you just do that?
Can I even do that
again?
Yeah. You know, and then you know, you start to find out, you do it again.
Then you do it, and you do it better, and you're like, man, this is crazy.
Yeah.
I love growth, dude. That's my favorite thing.
Any form of mastery, right?
Yeah.
You love to see. Whether it's combat sports or just some guy laying bricks, man. It's just, you know, or a guy drawing or playing an instrument, whatever it is. Just any level of, when somebody reaches a level of mastery at something, it's fascinating. It is when you see somebody do something on a level that you can't even comprehend, you know, how it's done like this. It's, you know, the things that are jaw dropping and eye opening. You know, it's such a fascinating thing to see.
Imagine if we used 100% of our brains. I mean,
well, that's a whole other thing.
You're capping out, and we're
not meant to.
Why?
But,
why? I need to know why.
Because we're assholes.
Yeah, but that boils down to energy, and mass.
But if you've ever become proficient and mastered anything, you know, of your own craft like that, when you see somebody else have a mastery of anything else, even if it has nothing to do with what you know,
you respect it
so much because you know what it took for them to reach that level of mastery. You know, whether it's stocking shelves at the market or it's, some people are just good at shit.
So
you know what they do. And
I listen to PBD
it's
a
so
lot.
damn cool.
You know Patrick Bet David. He's a businessman that has a podcast, and he owns a bunch of companies. He had an insurance agency and does stocks, and he kind of does. He's into politics a lot, but the way he talks, his presence, the way he just like holds himself, you can tell he's just a master of what he does. Right. And that's the type of people I look up to all the time.
Yeah.
It's like you see what he can do. You see like the people that talk to him and how people talk to him, how he treats other people. Right. And like, you know, you start looking into their lives a little bit and figuring out like, how did they get to this point? And for me, it's like, I try mimicking that person. It's like, try to be like the person you want to become.
Yeah.
Because eventually if you be like them, you will become that person. And it's not like, when I tell people that, it's not like, oh, like, don't try to be something you're not. But it's like, if you want to be a certain way, act like it, do it, and do the steps that it takes to get to that point.
Yeah, it's action.
Yeah.
Right. But it's also, you know, there's an element of you know, genuine energy and and being authentic, a stamp of authenticity. It's be that hero that you've always seen. Look for the opportunities that are there, because they're in front of our face all the time, right? You're faced with your programming to do this or that, or option C. You can make a big difference in somebody's life, or change the way they feel, or how you approach something. And there's a difference between, people who just use everything you give them and suck it up. But when, you can, there's that old quote, real recognize real, right?
For sure.
But
that's real. I mean, that is a real thing.
And you can kind of flesh that out with people who are just, trying to take advantage of what they can get out of you.
You can usually feel it, man. You can feel it with there's been a few times where we've met new people that, have been introduced into our network, and we're like,
some people are good bullshitters.
Yeah. You could usually tell within the first couple hours of like, this dude's may not be real.
Yeah, you could
what
tell.
he's
You
saying
could tell
usually
almost
probably
right
not
away,
true.
right?
Yeah. We catch it a lot.
They're playing a character rather than embodying who they are, and I think that becomes like a way of kind of weeding out, when's the time you can make a difference, and when's the time that you're just you're being a sucker. And as I get older, I've learned my lessons along the way a lot of times, and that's just part of our journey.
Isn't it frustrating that we don't have access to the knowledge that we have now when we were when we really needed it? Well,
that's like the famous line, right? If I only knew then what I know now, right? Imagine knowing what you do in your 20-year-old body. You get a chance to do it again, right? But that's just not the way it works. It's not the way it's meant to go, right?
Unfortunately.
And that's that's just human nature. That's why we're not allowed to use more than 10% of our brain. Because we don't get a chance to really.
Who set that rule up, man?
Bullshit button.
I need to talk to that person.
Yeah, right. We do.
We talked about stoicism earlier.
Yeah.
What do you know about stoicism, and how do you comprehend it? What's the meaning of stoicism to you?
So I'm not a deep diving reader or anything, but I do follow certain pages and these quotes that come up, and I don't really like to listen a lot to what they mean from somebody else. I like to interpret them my own way, because I think everything we hear we means something. We might read the same quote, it'll mean something very different to me than it means to you probably. But when you see a lot of those Marcus Aurelius quotes or Seneca and those kind of quotes, and it's all just basically to me about taking harnessing your emotion and being able to navigate, with wisdom and knowledge rather than emotion, right? And having a deeper understanding of acceptance of what is. What life is it's going to be what you make of it. A lot of it's based on perspective. One of my favorite quotes, we suffer more in imagination than reality.
True.
And and it's true. How many nights have you spent like so worked up about something you got to do or something that happened or
oh yeah,
and you can't even sleep, right? Yeah. And then you're just like, oh man, and I kind of got to a place of being able to not worry about those things, because
when you mean what things like just,
well, let's say a fight, right? Let's say a fight, for example. People ask all the time, why are you so calm? And
you do seem like a very calm.
People who've seen me backstage at a fight, the other guys are sweating, they're warming up, they're shaking it out, they're and I'm sitting on the couch like this, I'm making jokes, I'm making everybody in the room laugh, and I'll lay down, I'll take a nap, I'll close my eyes and just rest, and
literally that.
and I'll just talk, and I'll just talk to people about, Star Wars or something, Lord of the Rings, because
Star Wars and Stoics.
That's what I told you.
Because and there's a big connection with religion and Stoicism to that for me too.
Let's hear it.
Yeah,
we could talk about
these topics.
But that's what it all means, right? Is I'm not gonna suffer in imagination what could be the outcome of this tonight, and I'm not gonna worry about it. I know I prepared for everything I possibly could. I did my work. I'm confident about the work I've done, and if it doesn't go my way tonight, that's just the way the cookie crumbles, and I'm going to learn from why, and I'm going to move forward. I'm not going to stress about what's on the line and what opportunities are there, because there will be more. And I can always put more on the line and put more on the table and create more of those things for myself. So why am I going to worry about what's in, I'm going to do what my task is in front of me, and I'm going to handle whatever the situation is next.
You believe that everything happens for a reason, win or lose?
I wouldn't say predetermined destiny for a reason, maybe, but possibly. But I believe whatever happens is going to be fine. Right?
It'll work its way out.
Yeah.
You may not want a certain situation to happen. You may not want to whatever the case is, but usually there's a silver lining behind it. And usually there's either a lesson behind it or something that will grow from that loss or whatever that situation is.
Yeah. And it comes from a place of confidence too, though, right?
That it
like
will.
I talked
That
about,
it will.
right? Like,
yes.
I know the person, I've become. And everything I've been through in my life has led me to a path where I'm confident no matter what happens that I'm gonna be just fine. I'm gonna figure it out, and I'm gonna get it done.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, confidence is also like being positive. You're also a very positive individual, and positivity doesn't mean perfect. Positivity just means, okay, whatever happens, I'm positive that we're going to be able to work through this.
There was and there was something recently I read up on about about how positive, about positive and negative thoughts, and how our brain is always looking for gratification, right? Of whatever it is we're telling ourselves, right? So if we're going to sit here and tell ourselves, and create this narrative that everything's negative, this and that, our brain is just wired to find the gratification for why. Look, see, that happened. That's why.
Right.
This ain't fair, right? Or it works the same on the opposite end, right? Is if you're thinking positively and you're like, all right, well, but I'm so damn grateful for everything else I have going on. That's inconsequential. That doesn't matter, right? Because everything else going on is just gonna, and when your brain thinks like that, instead of seeing, you're not even gonna see that crap. What you're gonna see is look, see, this is already going. Look at that. This fell into place today. Look at that. If I didn't even, if I was so miserable and decided not to do that, then I wouldn't have, run into this. And, there's an element to all that too.
Words are powerful, man. You got to be careful.
What you tell yourself is powerful.
You do.
The story you tell yourself about yourself is powerful.
Yeah, you could talk yourself right into a sickness, man. You could talk yourself right into it.
And right out of it.
Right out of it.
And I think that is going to,
I'm going to have him pull it up.
Be a little bit more of using more than 10% of our brain than we think we can. I think we have the ability to heal ourselves and set whatever
100%.
we want.
Ash, pull up a clip. It's the negative and positive. When you speak negative and when you speak positive, there's a different reaction to the actual water that's right next to you. And they put it underneath a microscope, and you actually see the water crystallize differently when you talk positive to it, and then when you talk negative to it, you see a whole different reaction. And when you speak positive to it, it forms a crystal that's like a beautiful icicle, like snowflake. And then when you talk negative to it,
under a microscope,
and when you talk negative to it, it looks like broken glass. It looks just like a mess. Watch. Yes,
they've done it with plants, everything.
See if you can fast forward to the actual clip of the. Here it is.
Harmony.
So there's harmony, right?
Yes.
Yep.
No, you're fine.
Here is eternal. And now watch when it starts listening to negative things. Thank you. And look how beautiful that is. And now here you go. Hitler. That's wild. Hey. Dude.
That'll ruin everybody's day, huh?
Wait. You mean to tell me that water knows about Hitler?
Are we all made of water?
What's happening here?
Well, yeah.
That was a terrible example, guys, but listen.
I get the gist.
Voice was Hitler.
Oh, it might have been. Yeah.
Well, but you know what is?
What's this one? Evil.
It's
like Geico. Save money on your car insurance.
Lion son.
This isn't the best example,
No,
but
it's all good. We get
there
that
are
part.
I
some-
see
There
what
we
you're
go.
saying,
Before
yeah.
prayer, after prayer.
So
Cool.
but you know what though? I do think that there's a feeling of energy, right?
Absolutely.
Like anybody who pays attention to that stuff, I'm not sure if I quite believe all the crystal stuff and everything, but I do believe in you. You can feel.
Comes from the earth. It comes
people
from the earth,
hold
though.
certain crystals and it's going to create certain. And I don't know. I don't know much about it, but I do know intuition, gut feeling, all that stuff, and I think if you pay attention, by doing the exact opposite, really just getting into like almost a meditative state in your mind, consciously while you're walking around, your subconscious will pick up energy, right? And you can kind of feel it on a person. You just get a gut feeling about somebody when you're across from you, when you're close by somebody. You can feel, you look and connect to them. You can feel that energy on them, and you can kind of feel their almost empathically, right? You can almost feel that emotion or feel that something about them, right? That draws you in and makes you really like that person, or something about them. You don't like them.
Yeah.
And if you want to get in my crazy mind about it, the way I make sense of it all is, I grew up as a lifelong Star Wars fan. And I think there was a lot of elements of different religions in there. If you from across all the way, Buddhism, Christianity, all of it. But I'm not a very religious person. But I'm also not the person to tell you there's nothing, and I don't believe it. I just don't know what I believe in because I don't know.
I struggle with that as well.
I don't know. So, my belief is, the way I make sense of it is, there. I don't know if I believe in a conscious being like a God who loves us and speaks to us, and maybe, I don't know, but I really believe there's something, and the way I make sense of it is this cosmic energy, right? This force that connects us, binds us, surrounds us, and moves through us. And I think that's part of being in that flow state we were talking about. I think it's part of being able to connect to people's energies. I think it's even a way of,
Do you think you can control it?
Force.
Are we able to control that force?
No, because we can't use more than 10% of our brain. But if we could, damn it, if only we could, right? But
just have to decalcify.
But I do
gland.
think some people are exceptional, and I think people who have done unexplained things, maybe they're just using a little bit more of their brain. Maybe there's more science into it than faith, right?
Yeah.
But,
because there's definitely people out there, man, who can do
some weird shit,
some weird stuff.
Yeah,
I really feel like that's what Jesus Christ actually. He was just more tuned in and tapped.
Yeah,
he's just tapped into his body.
I think he's Mike Georges reincarnated.
Yeah,
Dr. Georges has
but,
the ability to just fix things. But no, I do think Jesus was a healer. I think he had special ability. Do I think he was the Son of God? Well, if you're going to make that argument, I guess we all are. Then,
I feel like he was so advanced that he could be predicted to be the Son of God because others weren't,
because there was nothing like
in,
that, right? No,
they weren't able to heal.
So
like that.
That's my interpretation of it also. But I think there's something to it, and I don't have any great deep dive explanation really, other than that there is this cosmic energy that created, these everything, and
that's
and connects us and binds us and passes through us, and I think that has a lot to do with emotions and sometimes how we don't, how they work. And
that's my interpretation of God too. It's like there is a creator. There's a reason
something
why we're
power.
here. But like there's also times where I'm like, this happened way too coincidentally. Like there's times or weeks that go by and we're like, how did that just work out? Like, how am I talking to somebody that was talking, like, it's just, there's certain situations that we get ourselves into and we're like, that shouldn't have just happened like that.
I think, positive energy and it connects, and I wouldn't say I guess you can call it karma or something like that. But I don't think it's just that. I think if you just put good things out there, good things come back around to you, not magically, but people,
when you're open to receive it, you definitely get it.
People don't always remember exactly what you said or exactly what you did, but they'll never, ever forget how you made them feel, right? And that was actually something, it's a popular quote, but my dad said that to me as a kid, and it's one of the things that stuck with me. He asked me, why do people lie? You know, and I said, I don't know. He said, because they're afraid, right? And that one stuck with me forever too. And I was thinking, I ain't afraid of nothing. I'm never gonna lie.
Yeah.
I won't lie now. I won't. I won't have to say everything. If there's something I don't want to say, I won't say it, right?
Yeah.
But I won't lie. I can't flat out lie. It's just it's a tick of mine. I won't do it.
Yeah.
And it's you know, it's little things like that, you know. But the bigger one, right? Even you know, people never forget how you make them feel, right? And why is that? Because we're not connected to you know, material things and words and what something, you know, did or was given to you, or you remember only how they made you feel, right? You know, I think that's the most important thing to take away out of it, is that, you know, you feel that because of energy, right? That energy, you know, you feel that energy that person gave to you, and how what they did caused, you know, an emotion within you that made you feel great, made you feel, you know, connected, loving, bonded, or made you feel resentful, angry, hateful, right? It's, you know, and there's things, you know, you probably remember somebody from you know, school when you were a kid.
As soon as you said that, I thought of somebody right
away. But you
away.
probably can't even remember exactly what it was they said or what they did. Maybe you're just like, I don't remember what that kid was an asshole. You know, you don't remember what, but you just remember how it made you feel, right? And you know, I think there's a lot of power to that.
Yeah, man.
You know?
So it sounds like you learned a lot from from Star Wars, from watching Star Wars.
Well, it's my own inner thoughts, but that's how I make the most sense of it. Yeah. Right. Is I compare it to that analogy. Yeah. Because, you know, it's what it exists. It makes sense.
Where do you think we came from? Like, where do you, if you had to bet your money, like, where do you think we originated from? Humans.
And why in China do you look a certain way, and why in Africa do you look a certain way?
Yeah.
Why is the soil different in every, like, you just become a different?
I've never given a lot of thought to it. You know, well,
isn't that?
I mean, why? I mean, I don't because I don't know. You know, because I don't know. Is why I and nobody will convince me that they know.
Because you know why? You know why? Because there's no answer.
No one will ever know.
There's no concrete answer.
But I still want to know, like, how does the soil make people different? Like, you were born on this side of the line that's invisible. I mean, our continents all used to be connected.
Why are some lizards blue and some green and some, I don't know.
It's just, why do, you know, stingrays look like humans in skeleton form? Like,
you heard it here first, folks. Stingrays look like humans.
Ash, we need to see a skeleton of a stingray.
We saw a stingray the other day, dude, that looked scary, like
alien / human.
It was crazy.
You know what freaked me the hell out? Did you ever see what a scallop looks like?
No, but I love the taste of them.
They're delicious.
Check these.
I can't do scallops or anything like that.
Hey, pull up a scallop. Oh yeah, look at that weird thing, huh?
You see the eyes?
Oh yeah.
That's not even close to what we saw the other day.
Yeah,
this thing looks like a little baby.
That's funky.
Yeah. Pull up a scallop. What is a scallop?
Yeah, pull up what a like an actual, like, click on one, like, now zoom in on that thing.
No,
it looks like an alien creature with 1,000 eyes and 1,000,000 teeth. Look at it.
Wow.
How weird looking is that thing, right? Looks
Dude,
like
speaking of that, there was.
Are those all the eyes?
No, yeah, those are eyes, and
they're in Congress right now. They're
weird,
doing a. They had it like the UAP meeting today. It was like.
It's supposed to be UFO, but
yeah,
they
it
just
was
have
like
to change the letters around.
So the government's trying to get all this information out right now because technically they're supposed to tell us. So they're saying that there's bases in the ocean, and this is coming from our government. I mean, they're straight up saying it, documented on TV that we've been hiding this for a while, and there is something going on in our ocean right now that we can't explain.
For 50 years, they've been making people look like idiots.
That happened today. So I
no aliens don't exist, or
there's so many crazy conspiracy.
It's fun to think about.
It is.
It's fun to think about, like the pyramids and shit. Like, how the fuck were those things built? It's just there's so many things that you can never explain, and they're just fun to think about.
Yeah, it's fun to think about. But you know what's funny is I really don't pay too much attention to to any of even politics and world events. I don't put much thought and study into any of it because it goes back to stoicism. Whatever is out of our control is a waste of our time, right?
True.
And there's so many smoke and mirrors behind everything, especially with like politics.
I don't trust anything. I don't trust anything.
I don't know what's real.
No.
I don't know what's
What
you said earlier.
What you said earlier is you gather information from different areas and you gather your own opinion. That's what I do with everything.
But more often than not, I find myself having no opinion.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, leave it open to possibly have an opinion down the line. But
I don't know what my
leave it
opinion
open.
is.
Yeah.
I don't have personal experience with something, and I don't have I'm not very educated on something. Then I don't really have an opinion about it because what's my opinion worth, and is it worth space in my brain to conjure one up?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wasting time and energy. That's how I feel like that's how you look at it.
Efficiency.
Yeah. What do you do for fun?
I'm a super nerd.
Do you get dressed up as Batman? Yeah.
He's got one in the gym. He's got one in his gym.
Only when criminals need a beating.
Yeah.
Not as often as you think, but more often than a grown man should. But I mean, yeah, I'm a comic book guy.
Are you Alfred?
He is my Alfred. I got a comic book collection. I have a Lego collection.
Mm-hmm.
My son and I have been building away since the
comic books
pandemic.
still worth money or no?
The more older ones are. I don't think I have anything that crazy. They're all printed digitally now. Like
you
the
buy them to
artwork and
read.
everything.
You buy them to read. Yeah.
And I enjoy. I have half of them I haven't even read. I mean to, and I don't get around to it. But but that and movies and. Gladiator 2 just came out.
I heard it was dope.
Gladiator 1's my favorite movie of all time.
Did you see 2 yet?
I did.
It was good?
I was happy with it.
Yeah.
I mean, was it the first one? No, I didn't expect it to be.
For number 2, I heard it was very good.
It was entertaining movie.
Mm-hmm.
And it had some cool themes in there and stuff, but the main thing I took away from it was an entertainment value.
Yeah.
The first one was more of like a relation, a bar to set and to live by, a code to live by, and the because that's what's like very relatable for a fighter in modern day too, right? You look back at like, that line, "Are you not entertained?" Right? He's murdering people for everybody's entertainment.
Mm-hmm.
And and it's sick, and that's basically what he's trying to convey to these people when he says that, this is disgusting. Right?
Yeah, is this what it takes?
And there's an element of that to what I do, and truthfully, I am feeling like I'm reaching a point where I am, mentally and spiritually, if you want to call it, outgrowing it.
Yeah.
Because I like I said, sometimes I pity certain opponents and I will be merciful if I can in some scenarios. Especially I meet the guy. I haven't had an opponent have a real issue or anything. We shake hands. Sometimes we say hello and we talk a little bit and. At the end of the day, it's a sport, it's a competition, but it's a violent one, and it's very unforgiving, and one wrong thing can screw you up for the rest of your life.
Do you have anything coming up? Any fights coming up?
Nothing right now. I just got off that other one. I got some bones to heal. What'd you injure in that fight? Oh, it was your hand. That's right. My hand, my forearm, my elbow. There's actually I'm gonna feel this thing. There's a piece moving around. Look at this, right? So yeah, if you push around in here, you'll probably find there's a piece moving. There's like a big crack in it under here. You can feel there's a
feels like a big piece of cartilage.
And this one's just a hard, regular.
Yeah, no, that's fucked up.
It's bad.
Yeah,
it's bad. And but I've been training still.
How'd you do that?
I'm rolling and blocking the 40 knees.
Oh yeah.
That dude was an animal. I was impressed by him. I came out a little too flat. I definitely wasn't at my sharpest going in. It was a lot of behind the scenes.
No, I think you actually lost the first couple of rounds. Was it on the card? Did you lose the first couple of rounds?
No, it was only it was a knockout in the second round.
Oh, was it? I thought it went 3.
And no, it was still a win in the first round, but going to the second, I toward the end of the first round, I think he was close to go. I started stepping on it a little bit more halfway through the round, and then in the second round, he came out with his last ditch effort of a huge barrage. I think he threw like a 40-piece combination.
Yeah.
He pulled that thing up. It's hilarious.
Yeah.
The dude was the dude he hit hard too. He was good.
And did you feel like he was gassing the tank when he was doing that?
I did. It was part of my strategy was, and I have this little trick I do when you throw in the knees. I'm going to hit my elbows onto the soft tissue above the knee. So your legs stop
and there
working.
You go.
And it's kind of what happened.
Yeah,
but one of them, the kneecap did connect to my elbow and my forearm, my chest. So I, a few did get through and did damage, some.
Do you know John Gotti Jr.?
Yeah.
Have you trained with him?
I have before.
How's he looking? Does he have any fights coming up or anything?
I haven't seen him in a while.
Oh, he just got off that Mayweather thing. That's right.
He did. Yeah,
he's getting that. It's coming back. It's coming back.
But I like those guys a lot. The father's very, very good to us. He comes to all
he's
my
awesome.
fights and
he's awesome.
Yeah, we love him. We have a good relationship with them.
Yeah, you think he's gonna cash in on that second fight, Mayweather Gotti?
If he can, of course.
I think it seems like it's gonna happen. It's a good storyline.
Yeah, who wouldn't? I mean, it's brilliant. He's in a great position to get that opportunity. It's awesome.
Do you guys have a team put together for your career to try to kind of get angles like that?
Yeah, we have, and I really, truthfully, I don't pull on those strings as much as I really could be. I have very low ambition for a fight career for somebody who's accomplished as much as I have so far, in my time in it. But, my dream isn't to be a world champion UFC fighter. I will if I am presented with the opportunity. If that's where the wind blows and if the force wills it, that's where I'll be. But if if I had my pick, it's to build on what I'm doing now with our community and this gym.
Yeah, good for you.
I see how much of a difference it makes in these people's lives and the way I'm able to influence a lot of people who can really use a little bit of good guidance. Not saying I have all the right answers all the time, but most of the time better than
what they're going through.
These things that people are experiencing, and and I have a lot of life experience for a young man, and
Are you training pro fighters right now or amateurs?
I am. Yep, I do, and the big thing I try to teach them is how easily this sport can chew you up and spit you out.
Yeah.
How unforgiving it is,
sure.
and the thing I try to make sure they understand is I'm not going to do what's best for your career. I'm going to do what's best for you as a person, as you, as a human being, and what's going to be best for your life, and it doesn't always line up with their ambition, but it's what I feel is best for them as a person. At the end of the day, their health comes first. Their opportunities in life come first. And sometimes, all the sacrifice and everything this sport will take from you is so much more than it'll ever give to you. So you have to be ahead of the game and understand the business and understand everything else on the other end of it and the dirty side of it and know how to utilize it to get the most out of it that you can. I mean, I'm sitting here speaking, with you right now because of the reputation I've made for myself as an athlete, right? And that's how I've made a little bit of a name and reputation for myself locally, and I've gotten to meet a lot of people through that and make connections, and it's a beautiful damn thing, and in that way, because I'm aware of it and open to it, I'm able to utilize those opportunities to create more for myself and those around me than I ever could chasing a pipe dream of a 1 in a million shot. Not that I don't believe I can do it or won't. It's just you got to look at the whole board when you're playing chess, right? If you get too focused on that one attack you've been setting up 5 moves ago, they probably
not
set up
gonna
a few
see.
of the things, and you're losing position. You're ready for you're about to lose that piece that's going to cause you your whole downfall in that game,
Yeah.
right? You know, life's like a chess match, you know, and it's something I wish I got into sooner. My buddy Tom got me into that. He's sitting right over here, and he
Chess is
said, you know
awesome.
what? He's like, you know, you're driving me nuts at the gym. That no matter what move I make, and you know, you're gonna play chess. You know, and I'm like, all right. And I think it was my first chess game. You know, he was taking it easy on me, showing me the ropes. And you know, and then it started picking up. I started catching the hang of it, and he starts trying to turn it on, and I beat him, right? And he's like, all right, new game. And I think the next one, he might have got me the next one or something, but we played a real game that, you know, the same day, and I beat him. And the look on his face was like,
Yeah.
right? So disgusted.
Have you been playing for a while?
I would say I'm a better teacher than player. I can.
No, he's
make
a very
it really
good player. I
interesting,
feel like
you
every
know?
chess player says they're not that good. He's very good, and he's taught me really well. But it's something I wish that was a normal thing for even with school systems and everything, right? Like this.
Oh yeah.
This
big
is
time.
a way
Absolutely.
of thinking. It brings you into a way of thinking the way we should be thinking.
Yeah.
You know, strategically and understanding the big picture and the whole board, and you know, sacrificing what is able to be sacrificed, and don't sacrifice what
That's a good
isn't,
point.
right?
Yeah.
And being able to think that way and you know, navigate life in that mindset, right, is I think an important thing to understand. I really do think it should be, you know, a bigger thing in our culture.
From grade one.
You know, it's chess.
From
Yeah.
grade one, the same way these kids are learning to write their name, they should be learning chess moves.
It used to be
Straight
big.
up.
I mean, when I was a kid, we played all the time. I used to.
Really? Your family introduced it to you very
My
young?
family did.
It's
My
awesome.
mom did.
Yeah.
I played with my grandfather. My grandfather was a chemist. He was just one of those like wicked
what?
smart
Was
guys.
he-
dude.
Was out there
Was his name
casually.
Walter White?
Right, yeah, he looked like him a little bit. Yeah, he might have been slinging
Let's go.
something. I don't know, but we had a little extra money. No, I'm kidding, but no, he was like, he was just always just above. You know, he was one of those guys where you would be, you know, reading the newspaper and you walk by, he'd put a corner down, kind of just look at you, and you kind of knew what he was thinking when he looked. He was just super smart. So he you know, taught me chess at a very young age. And I took a liking to it. I love it. I still do. I love playing all the time. And, you know, it's definitely something that is moving away from what, you know, I feel like our kids don't even know what it, yeah.
Right.
Man, I don't even, that's a whole nother thing, dude. That's something that just, how old are your kids?
My son's going to be 7. My daughter's 11 months.
What is it like dealing with, so your 7-year-old is probably on the cusp right now of
He
like,
beats me at Fortnite.
yeah. So what is it, Xbox or PlayStation?
But I told him it doesn't matter. I could still kick his ass.
Oh, man.
Yeah. He's on. He plays. You know, but you know what though?
Do you have-
We limit him to the weekend.
Yeah.
If he
the weekend he could play?
just the weekend,
Yeah.
and if he did well in school, and there hasn't been any you know, the teacher didn't give a bad report that he wasn't paying attention or he was disruptive, or you know, he studies he has a spelling test every Friday this year, and you know, every Friday if he gets 100. He gets to play for
That's
the
good.
weekend, right?
That's a good rule.
And even then, you know, he's limited to, you know, hey, right now we're gonna go do this, and that. But when we get back, you can play for a little while,
if you
right?
keep it like that, that's all he'll know. But once you get to a point where you just let him play all the time and then try to take it away from him, it's a
Well,
whole thing
we had to.
that we're
You have
dealing with right
kids?
now.
Yeah.
We have 5. We have
Five?
5. Yeah.
5 kids.
Yeah.
5.
Wow.
Yeah.
And we're,
You guys are kicking it old school in every respect.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? It's a huge thing because electronics is the way of the future. So you
That's-
can't completely take
No,
it away
you can't.
from them.
It's but nor would I want to. It's fun. It's enjoyable, but there has to be something. It has to be a privilege.
Moderation.
It has to be
yeah.
a reward. It has to
It's-
be.
Which is so tough
know?
which is so tough to moderate as a parent. It really is. Like you
Can be.
say, yeah, you're like, all right, I only want him to play for 2 hours today, but then you're doing your own thing. You're working throughout the day.
Yeah, you're like, all right, I'll let him play a little longer so I can
Yeah.
do what I got to do right now, right?
You get into these situations,
That's
man,
gonna
and-
happen.
and-
I mean, there's times where we told him he could play for an hour or two, and he plays for 3 or 4 hours.
Yeah.
That's happened here and there, but. It's fine, but in the beginning when we first introduced him, you know, he didn't even know how to play anything yet.
Right.
You know, he was playing, after school and, first grade and you know, he was getting his bearings with it, and you know, he was new to it, and we're like, all right, we didn't think much of it, and you know, we started to notice changes in behavior. Right, he started getting like, you know, he didn't want to play with his
Snappy.
toys as much, and yeah, he started getting snappy and
Yes.
snippy about
Yep,
things, and
yep.
his attitude changed.
You want to
and
know
we're
why?
like, Whoa,
You want to
kid.
know why? Because he's online talking to other kids who are not, you know, as polished, who may not have the same rules, and that's where we
Yep.
struggle. Is like, you know, our son can kind of talk to us sometimes in a way that it's like, dude, you're not talking to your friends right now. You know, he'll come out of his room and he'll have this attitude because he just talked to his friends for 4 hours in a gaming way
Yeah.
where it's disrespectful. It's like you're kind of always putting the other person down, which I can't stand because that's just like what you do. If you're playing Fortnite with someone, you're like, oh, like you're talking shit.
Yeah.
And then they get out of their room and it's just like it carries over and you're like,
Goes
dude,
back
I'll
to that
smack you right
energy.
now.
Yeah.
Like, do not,
Yeah.
it comes out, you know, but
Yep.
it's tough, man. It's tough.
Yeah, it is. It is. It's there's a fine line, especially being you know, an aggressive person by nature. It's tough not to get frustrated and want to like
Yeah.
strangle him, you know. But you know, my wife's a damn saint. Like this girl,
That's what saves me.
you know, doesn't have a mean girl, in her,
Yeah, yeah.
mean bone in her body. You
Yeah.
know, so she, you know, I was, you know, would take the approach when he was a little younger. I'd yell at him, "Get in your room!" Right.
Mhm.
And there's sometimes I will need to raise my voice and yell at him, but for the most part, it's we try to play the reverse of it. You know, we try to tell him why you did what you did was wrong and how it hurt us, or what you did, you know, was bad. And we try to take the soft approach first. If we don't get a good response, he loses things.
Mm.
You know, all right, well, now, you know, I'm taking the system out of your room. All right, now, you know, keep talking. You'll lose TV, you know, for the night. Okay, now I'll take it out of your room, right?
Yeah.
So there's levels of it, and you know, we started to find we hold to those promises, you know, because if you don't, forget it. They'll never respect you now,
Yep,
right?
yep.
So, you know, we've taken the TV out of his room before for a week, and, you know, he gets it back, and now he knows, all right, you know,
They're
I'll
serious.
find
They'll
out,
yank
you know,
this thing.
they ain't kidding, you know, and you know, it's just stuff like that, but the biggest thing is making him understand that, you know, he in some way he's hurting our feelings, or you know, making us disappointed
Yeah.
with him, right? And he hates that more than anything. So it's
The
it's,
disappointing. The
yeah,
disappointment.
disappointing us,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
You know, so it's that's been like our biggest asset lately now is you know, making him feel like he's disappointing us and letting us down, and he is convinced that I am Batman.
Yeah. I bet, man. That's
So
cool.
anybody watching this,
Bat Dad.
don't spoil it for him.
Do you have the
I'm
bat
just
light
some
at
bum
home?
from the neighborhood, but yeah, no, he believes it, you know, in his heart, and my brother did when he was a little kid too, you know, and I think he still does.
Yeah.
Don't tell him either, but he's 19 now.
Awesome.
But you know, so he believes that. So when, you know, I tell him, hey, listen, like,
So do the rest of the friends and family, though.
you know, I think I'm starting to believe it. Fake it till you make it, I guess. Right?
That's right.
I live in my
Hey,
own little
act
pretend.
like the person you want to become.
Yeah, right. Just for the job you want, not the one you have.
Yeah.
So I'm sitting at the gym with a bat suit in the corner.
I saw it.
But
What's the
When
size
you
of
did
that gym?
Rough and Rowdy thing,
It's like 3,000
Jackie
square feet.
wore the bat
Oh, you
suit
did
as a
you
coach.
did the Rough and Rowdy?
I coached some of my
Oh, no
my
kidding.
guys for it.
Who
Yeah,
was
and, Justin McCoy got in there and got a good knockout
No
and stuff.
kidding.
And I did the corner in the Batman suit. I did the corner with Damani Burns, and he was the co-feature, and Vicky
Oh, Vicky's cool.
did
Vicky's cool.
she did the main event.
Yeah, Vicky's cool. Oh, it was that
And,
event. Yep.
And so I walked it, you know, I did the corners with all them in the Batman costume, and
It was
the
not a costume. It was not a costume.
it's real ballistic armor and
Oh, it's legit.
Yeah, oh, this thing's built for like doomsday preppers.
Pull up his Instagram, Ash.
CES had me show up in this thing
There it
Oh,
is.
wow.
for a press conference. It was over 100 people there.
There's Jimmy.
You know, the news cameras.
that Jimmy's
all
idea?
The news channels were there. Yeah,
Was
yeah.
it?
And yeah, it was quite the spectacle.
Oh my god.
And the mayor actually gave me a key to the city
During this?
during this press conference. And
Is that Jimmy?
That's Jimmy.
Oh, I can't see that.
Yeah. Ken Hopkins gave me a key to the city. You know, for being
There he is.
you know, such a
yeah. such
know,
a
a
superhero.
positive force for the community and stuff like that. You know,
gotta
that's how we
understand,
presented
me
it.
next to that suit,
It's-
even though you know it's him.
I mean, was it hot as hell in that thing? What was the
Oh
what was
yeah,
the
it's warm.
what
It was like
the-
it was probably like 90 degrees that
Get
day.
outta
Yeah, and then I'm
here.
wearing that thing. But
90 degrees.
That was midsummer.
Yeah, it was.
Dude, you must have been dying in that thing.
That's
But
one
yeah,
way
it was,
to cut
it was
weight.
warm. Yeah, right. It was before I fought for the middleweight title. That was the press conference. But you know, like how cool is that though, right? Like, I grew up liking superheroes and all that stuff since I was a little kid, and you know,
It's crazy.
this is what I grew up to.
No, it's
to
crazy.
be a giant child. You
Yeah.
know, it's fantastic.
And getting paid
You'll
for
live
it.
There's some,
longer.
yeah,
And
there's
getting
something
paid
about
for it.
holding on to that childhood innocence, though, right?
Yeah.
Like, don't take yourself so seriously. We're all just a bunch of goofballs trying to figure it out.
For
You know,
sure.
Yeah.
We're all just trying to
life's
figure
so
it out.
quick, you know, and we got to work hard. We got to accomplish what we got to do. But at the end of the day, if you're not enjoying yourself and just having fun with it and realizing we're all just a bunch of dweebs, you know, it's,
Yeah.
it doesn't matter. You know, we're all just having fun. And
Yeah, man.
I think that, you know, that was like the biggest thing I was excited about doing that. And, you know, when I spoke to the news channels, I was trying to explain, like, listen, don't take me so seriously right now.
Yeah,
Right? Like,
yeah.
you know, this
Yeah.
is for fun. This
That's
is,
awesome.
you know,
man.
and again, especially like kids locally and stuff, they look up to
Yeah.
athletes
Yeah.
and all that. And, you know, they see me in a Batman costume. They're like, oh, look at this guy is like, you know, I want that to rub off on kids. Like, you know, like don't grow up too fast, you know, live, you know, I saw this quote years ago and it settled hard with me. And it was, you're living in now what little you always dreamed of. Don't disappoint them.
Mm.
Right. And so I don't. My whole basement's a Lego world. I got 3 video game stations down there, a big TV. Everybody can watch movies and events, and you know, we got this whole upstairs downstairs flow, and it's
No, if you
you
can't
know,
have fun in life, man,
it's a fun thing, man, you know,
gotta
it's
have
just-
that balance.
you know, don't take yourself so seriously. Hold on to some of that childhood.
I have a hard
innocence, you
time
know?
with that sometimes. I have a hard time with the you know, trying to find the pleasure, not the pleasure in life, but like I often find myself like working a little bit too much
On the grind
too
so hard that you lose sight of enjoying the journey.
Yeah, I do sometimes. Yeah.
That's right. I
Like,
talk about a lot.
It's hard for me. She often tells me that I never. It's hard for me to kind of take.
Turn off work mode.
It's
Yeah.
not that, but just like accept
Well-
and be proud of what we've done already.
Yes, actually, we were talking
Well,
about that.
everything
Yeah.
everything is
talking off a ledge on a
Yeah.
daily basis.
Yeah.
it's about perspective, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
You know, it's everything you've accomplished now and everything you are now is what you dreamed of becoming years ago.
Yeah.
Right. And at what point does it become enough? Right. Well, the answer is you know, we should never stop trying
Yeah.
to
Elevate.
you know,
Be
do
better
better,
than
right?
before.
But you know, there is also a balance, you know, and I think that's another big Star Wars theme for me too, is in life is about balance. Everything's about balance and moderation. There's no cut and dry, black and white, this is this and that's that, and I can only do this. You got to have some kind of balance in your life and you know, and build the life that you want for yourself more than anything, right? More important than if it slows down your success rate a little bit, but you're
Happy.
you're so happy every day.
Yeah.
That to me is worth the sacrifice of sacrificing less, right? Because, you know, I built the life I want. You know, I wake up in the morning. I don't go too early. I have a nice little morning routine. I get to wake up, help get my kids ready for school. You know, and hang out with the baby and stuff a little bit. And I go to the gym for a couple hours. I get to me, it's hanging out with people, you know, it takes energy, but I get to, you know, I pick and choose the people I enjoy. And
Yeah,
just
for
to
sure.
do that
That's a
with.
big one.
You know, I'll teach them classes and then I go back home for a little while in the afternoon. I do some of the errands I have to do and meet with, you know, whatever I got to do. But, you know, I have the option. Hey, you know, let's go get lunch. Hey, honey, let's go get lunch. Hey, friend, so-and-so, let's meet up. Let's, you know, whatever. Hey, come by. You know, then, you know, the evening hits, I go back to the gym, you know, and I teach the classes. It's like a big party in there every night, right? There's 20, 30, 40
good
of us
gym.
some nights.
Having a good gym, dude,
And, Dude,
you
it's
know,
such a community. It's so cool.
it's amazing.
Right? It's
It's
such a cool
amazing.
thing. And you build, bonding is for men anyway,
one of the
especially
biggest
is
things in the world,
biggest
yeah.
through horseplay and shit,
Yeah.
right? So we're there hitting bags and wrestling around, and we're having a great time. And that's how people are leaving their 9 to 5 and going there, and now they have something to look forward to every day, right? It's just having that little something each day that you're looking forward to where you're not waking up, grind, go to bed, do it again, right? Because
Yeah.
that's going to lead to a dark hole.
So I heard something the other day. Somebody said, I think it was Dana White, create the life that you want to live to where you can't wait to wake up in the morning.
Yeah.
And I feel like we're there. I feel like I live that life right now.
Yeah.
Like you just said, I'm lucky enough to be able to do and structure my day however I want. And until that is not a thing, and until I start waking up and I'm like, I don't want to do this today, that's when I'll start, readjusting my life and kind of re-examining what's going on. But for right now, I feel like I just want to take advantage of it so much. It's like, I'm so fortunate and I'm so lucky that I have that, and I can wake up to everything I want to do. So I want to grasp onto it as long as I can and make sure that it never goes away. So I work.
If you're
hard
enjoying
to
what
do
you're
that.
doing, you never work a day in your life.
I love it.
Right? It was
I
that
love
kind
it.
of thing. But I always try to leave at least a little room for spontaneity, right? Having the answer of sometimes when you have your afternoons clear for a little bit, or on one day this week or whatever. What are you doing? Hey, what are you doing this afternoon? I don't know, right? That answer is the greatest, right? Because it's open for possibility, the unknown. Anything could happen.
Yeah.
I could go here. I could run into somebody. Boom! It could lead to something else, right?
That's my favorite thing.
I leave room for possibility.
Yes.
And spontaneity, and it
Some of the best things that ever happen are from that spontaneous moment.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah.
It's the best, right? I've had all of my best days were like that, and it comes from, and I really do humbly, appreciate the position I'm in now, and it's important that we talked about that a little earlier before we started this. I think it's easy to get complacent, right?
Yeah.
And so, I'm living pretty comfortable now. It doesn't mean I can't, continue to push the envelope and do better, but I'm also not going to be blind to everything I do have. I have it so good right now. I have, and these are prime years with my kids and I try to soak, the building of the gym. I try to soak in everything as much as possible to really stop and appreciate and enjoy everything I have accomplished and do have, and to some people it's major, to some people it's minuscule, but to me it's wonderful, right? And it allowed me the opportunity where my wife doesn't have to send her kids to daycare and go grind on a 9 to 5, and
That's a good
she
feeling.
gets to be home and hang out and take care of her kids and which is a lot of work. I mean, you would know.
Yeah.
It's it doesn't, it's not as easy as I'm making it sound, but it's a wonderful thing, and that we have such an awesome community at this gym. Everybody knows I do pretty well with fighting, but everybody knows, especially on a local level, it's not enough to make a living.
Yeah.
It's a nice little bonus, but
You know what? You got you're in a really good situation. I think it's just the person that you are. You are able to build off of what your personality. What I'm trying to say is, like, when people see Balletto's gym, they're like, "That's Gary." We know that who he is. We know that when we go there, we're going to get a great experience. We know we're going to have fun because it seems like you have a really fun gym.
I try to make it fun.
You
all
make
the
it
time,
fun.
yeah.
And you built that over the years just from everything that you've been doing. So it's going to work for you for forever. You're always going to have that.
I try to sell the idea of you don't have to take yourself so seriously to train to be a top-notch athlete.
Yeah, we used
or
to mess around
competitor.
all the time.
Whether you
man.
want to just mess around for fun or you want to train to be the best, you're all training together.
Yeah.
And my training camps, I don't even go anywhere anymore. I train with my students.
Did you used to go?
I've bounced.
travel and
I used to travel around
Yeah.
all the gyms in New England and get the best sparring I could here and there, blah blah. But you get to a point where you don't need to do that anymore. Like we said, we get older, and those things are just gonna hurt us more than help us now, right? Because you go to these places, it's competitive. These gyms have these egos, these and they don't want you getting the better of them, and so it becomes like almost like a little bit of a fight when you go to these places. Things like when I get to train my students, I get to practice what I'm teaching them, so I can hold myself accountable.
Yeah.
I'm making them better. They're training with a real fighter and in a real training camp, and they're getting a lot more experience out of it, and I'm building something bigger than what I'm doing. And the other guys in there and girls that see this stuff, and they're like, that's badass, and we don't even have to be fighters to train with this guy. We could just do it, and that's what I want to catch on is normalizing, and then there's a place and you do need certain levels of sparring and stuff sometimes. Not saying you don't have it, but for the most part it's
competitive, like when they're competing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
There's a 6-week training camp where I do take it a little more serious and stuff, but I'm still training with my students.
Do you do
and doing my
one-on-ones?
thing. Yeah.
You do?
Oh yeah. But it just creates a different type of thing for everybody where they're training and just getting better, but they're having fun. They're not there miserably grinding. I've had those training camps my whole life. Every time I went to practice, I didn't want to go. I didn't want to. I knew I had to.
Yeah,
To become better. I never wanted to go.
Yeah.
When I go to this place every day, I want to go, and I believe that 99% of the guys at this place, want to go. They're looking forward to it after work or whatever they did for the day, to go see all their friends and laugh and have a good time and train and get a good workout in. And, they
trouble starting the class.
Yeah.
Because you're having so much fun, yeah.
Yeah. It's after class, you'll see guys with chessboards and guys outside just chilling,
Do you have
talking.
any pictures of the gym online?
We have an Instagram page, yeah.
Let's check out the
Balletto Advanced
Instagram
Training.
page, Ash.
Yeah.
You guys, so what's the process of signing up? Tell people how to sign up.
Yeah, well, I mean, they reach out and they come in and just jump in a class. I don't, try to lock anybody in right away. I just want them to come in, see if they're a good fit, because if it's a good fit for them, then they're probably a good fit for us.
Does that go inside that video we just saw?
No, that was the plunge experience.
Oh, okay.
That's like a women's class. We have all kinds of stuff going on. But the big thing is everybody needs something to look forward to every day. And this is part of that little thing for a lot of people where they have that thing to look forward to. 6 days a week, they can come in, see everybody, hang out, have a good time. A lot of these people here, they've become close friends with each other where, I'll scroll through on Instagram and I'll see a picture, they're out without me, and I'm like, you sons of bitches.
I'm still friends with...
But it makes me so happy to see that even without me facilitating, that these people are building something beyond this gym,
man,
these bonds and these connections, and people are getting job opportunities and work opportunities and clients through each other and this and that, and the networking is unbelievable in there.
From all different perspectives and backgrounds is unreal.
I have such a cool support system with all the friends and family I have that support
That's
this
so
gym,
cool,
support
man.
my career
So
and fighting, and that's.
Was this the plan? Was this the plan years ago before you started this gym?
No. It kind of just came together. Like I said, during COVID, I created a little space to go train for myself. I started taking on some people in there, and then, it led to more. I started making small groups. I'm like, all right, we're running out of space. I need to do
that's
something.
how it happens, man.
I made a big investment to build out the downstairs, and right off the rip, had a lot of loyal friends and family that support this place.
Amazing.
And they're friends, but I call them family, because they treat me like such, and in return, I try to do the same in return.
Yeah.
And I think that rubs off on everybody. It's contagious in there. When they come in and meet everybody, it immediately catches on, and they become just like them. They're all so willing.
Yeah.
They overhear somebody's having trouble with this or that. Right on top of it. Hey, I can help with that. I know this guy and that, it's such and such. Everybody's networking some kind of way to help each other and build each other. Every day.
I'm still friends with everybody I've trained with at Manfredo's. Vladine, Toka,
I love Biasi.
George.
Yeah.
I mean,
spar
all
with him
those
back
guys,
in the
man.
day.
I'm still friends with most of those guys.
Oh yeah.
It's a beautiful thing.
It's a different
It's a
kind
great
of
camaraderie.
the heart and soul it takes to do a combat sport. It's a different breed of people, but it creates a different breed within somebody, right? It changes you fundamentally in your soul and your DNA when somebody sticks with this stuff, and not even competitively, just to do it and be around it. And the great thing is that the mix of this gym is you have your average Joes training side by side with your top athletes in
That's
New
cool.
England. They all come here. We're all sparring together. All the best athletes all over. We get them all. They all come in for sparring and this and that. It's building to be that. And
So on like a Thursday night, Friday night, how many people are in there? What does it look like on a Friday night?
I mean, it could be.
We've had up to like 40.
There could be 40 people in there one night, or there
Some
could be
people-
4.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the day after Thanksgiving, there was like 4.
But to reiterate what you're trying to say from an outside perspective, I had entered this gym I had never set foot in a boxing gym in my life, and to see it now, what it is, and like
What it
it's
was.
professionals going in and out of the ring sparring. Then you look to the left, there's a women's class hitting all the bags. A children's class had just finished up. There's kids running around.
Look
Then
over
you
to the
look
right.
in
There's
back
guys in
the
a gi.
mat,
Yeah.
there's guys doing a gi class. This is all within the same hour. Never mind the rest of the
That's
night.
cool, man.
And then we got a little therapy tree outside after the class.
Everybody's hanging out after, and that's my
That's
favorite part
so
about it,
cool.
right?
It's
Is
The hang. Yeah.
everybody's enjoying an element of their day, right? And that's what I try to bring to the table for everybody, is a sense of belonging, a sense of people here do genuinely care about each other. It's a cool thing, like. And there's nothing to gain out of it. Like somebody will come in, oh damn, I gotta move this weekend, I'm stressed, and 4 people will walk over. Oh, you're moving? You need a hand? It's just such a cool damn thing. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, because moving sucks.
I
I always try to be that guy. I always
that.
try to be that guy. First to raise my hand when a friend's moving or needs help with that kind of stuff, man.
Because
It goes a long way, and it
people
makes me
remember-
feel good too.
And that's the thing about karma, right? We
Yeah.
were talking about. It's not magical. It's real. It's you do things for people. People remember that, and they want to be good to you in return. And other people see that, it catches. It's contagious.
Yeah.
Positivity and authenticity and genuine behavior are all contagious things.
Yeah.
And that's what I think is the most special element to our gym.
Gary Balletto Jr., thank you so much for coming on, man. This has been an absolute pleasure. I actually really enjoyed sitting down with you, dude,
This
and
was
getting to know
awesome,
you,
man.
dude.
Yeah.
Seriously,
It was
man.
a great
I
time.
appreciate you coming on. You guys are the best, man.
You're the best.
I appreciate that. So, everybody, stay tuned for next week, and we'll catch you later.